Budo Brothers was born out of wanting to learn something new. This whole journey started because you and I wanted to learn something new in how to start an e-commerce business. Okay, cool. I want to learn that. You want to learn that? Yeah, let's learn that. Okay. Where do we start? I don't know.
That's the hard part with it too. Like when you start something so brand new, you don't even know where to start.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. But that ignorance is sometimes a good thing.
Damn right, because if you are a seeker and you do want to learn something new, you will overturn those rocks, and those rocks might be heavy, but you will overturn them to see what's underneath them and learn whatever lesson is there. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Budo Brothers podcast. You got Eric.
And Kyle.
And I am recently really excited about learning something new. And one of the areas that I love creating, I love making things, I love learning how to make new things. And as we grow Budo Brothers, we want to start making more things, like us actually making and producing products. You and I.
Right.
Like,
not made in China.
right, made locally.
Yes.
And we're doing a good job of it so far. I mean, it's not you and I making the throwing knives, but we're making our throwing knives locally.
Yes.
It's great. But we don't have sheaths for them. And I want to, instead of buying some cheap shit overseas, I want to make the most premium quality sheaths for our throwing knives. I don't know how to do that. I've seen how awesome Kydex can be, and it's a whole new process. You have to heat it up. You need a mold. You got to do this. So I legit was like, I want to learn this. I want to learn something new, and I want to add a new skill set to my toolbox.
Cool.
And I think that is a good theme for us to hit on today, is that importance of the desire to continually want to learn something new. Whatever it is, learn a new language, learn a new skill, learn a new martial art, learn a new trade, learn how to fix your sink when it breaks. You know, good example. When my washing machine broke, I watched it on YouTube, and I'm like, this is how you can fix it. So I learned how to fix it.
Right.
I could have paid someone $300 to come here. Oh yeah, I just have to jiggle this thing. Well, I learned how to jiggle the thing. Right?
That's so true. Learning and continuing learning, I think it keeps you young. It keeps your brain sharp.
Yeah.
I find people really age when they get too comfortable and they stop learning new things, right? You have some friends who just like get so comfortable and so complacent, they don't learn anything new. It's almost like they're just exponentially aging, right? Because learning, creating, and being in that playful mindset, because you have to like let go of your ego and just like play around with things, which is like a child, right? So
Yeah.
it keeps you young to learn and keeps you excited.
Exactly. And the brain is a muscle. And if we stop using it and challenging it and loading it up with solve this puzzle, I don't know how to do this, but I need to figure it out. That keeps your brain strong. It's exercise for the mind. So continually challenging yourself by wanting to learn something new will, by definition, keep your mind strong.
Learning takes bandwidth, though. When you learn something new, do you have to drop something old? Or are you able to plug it into your current workload and just add in there, right? Because learning something new requires a certain amount of brain energy, a certain amount of time commitment, a certain amount of effort in order to learn something.
Yeah.
And if your day is already full, how do you go about learning something new? Do you have to drop something?
Sensei Jay Creasy, I remember one day when we were training, he had a talk on this subject. He said, every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And every time you're saying no to something, you're saying yes to something else. There's always a give and a draw, but the hope is, at least in my mind, that if you are continually challenging your mind and getting stronger, you would be increasing your bandwidth. You would, just like working out regularly increases your ability to lift heavy weights, challenging your mind with learning things will enhance your ability to learn more things.
Right.
I feel like it expands your bandwidth. I don't think we have just a complete lid. We all have different areas where we start to, I'm tired, I'm done, I gotta tap. The further we push it, the further you push your limits, the further you go. You once you've crossed that line, you know where the red line is. Now, next time the red line might be a little further. Another yard, another pound, and before you know it, you're lifting heavy ass weights. You're tapping people out on the mats. You're excelling.
Right. And the learning curve is a difficult one, right? Because all the hard work is usually up front. Like the time it takes to learn and to understand, it's a significant amount of work, right?
Yeah.
Like what I've been really wanting to learn lately and have been learning a lot is about investing, right?
Yeah.
And learning about financial systems and the Fed and central
markets.
banking
Yeah.
and all of these different things. But when you first listen to it and you're like, like all these like numbers and facts and words that you've never heard of before,
Another language.
it's hard. You're like, I'll never learn this. Then you just keep at it, and then you get it, and it starts to work. You said something that's very interesting though, and I think it's the key to learning anything is understanding the language first. And I was learning about blockchain, right? And they have all of these random words and acronyms and different things like a DAO, like, all of these things that when you're listening to it at first,
I have no idea.
but when you start learning the vocabulary and the definitions, it allows you to understand more. And then I feel like once you have that vocabulary of things, your learning curve increases a lot quicker.
I agree. I also think it's important. One of the other key ingredients is interest. You have to be interested.
Yeah.
I don't have a vivacious appetite for learning about shit that I'm not interested in. That doesn't mean I can't get interested in it. I have cared less about a lot of things, and then all of a sudden, I'm curious. I'm curious, and wow, that's actually interesting. And when it becomes interesting, I want to learn more. I want to learn something new about that, of which I do not know.
Yeah. And I set out to learn Spanish a little while ago. I'm learning it, and I got a way better understanding for it, but I just got tired of it because I don't speak it to anybody else, right?
Yeah.
I don't like I was learning.
You can't use go have fun. Like, I'm going to go to the market.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm going to try and buy some shit.
So like I just lost interest with it, and
Yeah.
it's just like this is taking up more time than it's worth for me right now. And I kind of felt bad for quitting it, kind of.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, I could fill it with better things, and I filled it with stuff that I was more interested, like the cryptocurrencies, the investing. Because like right now, I'm just really, for whatever reason, passionate about learning those things.
And you're on it, man. Like
YouTube, man. YouTube is the easiest way to learn anything. It is the biggest library on the planet,
and you're getting things up to date the day of, and you follow smart people that it's their job to dissect this. That's the beautiful part of all of these platforms, is that it gives experts the ability to share their knowledge with the entire world that's connected.
Yeah, and there's like a little bit of a governing body too, because the comments matter, and it has to work, or else people would be like, this is garbage. Like,
it doesn't go anywhere.
It doesn't work, yeah. So YouTube, I think, is one of those platforms where learning is, I bet you more people learn from YouTube than university right now.
And I was just going to say, I bet you could save that 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a year. And I would bet that you could probably eliminate half of the degrees in university. And if you have an interest in history, or you can learn it.
Yeah. Well, it's all online anyway right now. So like, what's the difference?
You're gonna pay $40,000 to go to Zoom classes. How pissed would you be if
When we went to school, it was Zoom classes.
Or you signed up for Harvard, or
Yeah.
you're paying $80,000 a year to attend
Watch YouTube.
Zoom class. You're watching
Sophisticated YouTube.
How about you don't graduate with a bunch of student debt and
Yeah.
leapfrog? Because by the time, and the other thing too, like when we're living in this day and age of fast paced, things change so frequently. By the time a university has a curriculum and you've graduated, you're already out of date. And I know this firsthand. When I was in engineering school, I did a minor in entrepreneurship and enterprise development. And in the marketing, they were talking about brochures and mailing brochures. And I mean, this was what, 2007 or something?
Right.
But still, like,
And running SWOT
just
analysis.
outdated. You know, like social media was just coming on the scene. It was the wild, wild west. Not one marketing class would talk to you about. It wasn't even like, oh yeah, you should really. Oh, it's a fad. This whole Twitter thing is not going to go anywhere.
It's funny because a friend of mine, he's wanting to get a new job, and he went back to the college here and got his little certificate on marketing.
Yeah.
And one of their biggest things was you should make a Facebook group. Like they're teaching how to make a Facebook group. Like if that's where your marketing skills are right now.
But also you can learn that shit online.
I'm like, who the hell? How the hell? Like Facebook group is like the oldest.
Yeah.
Like you don't. It's already
dated.
done, right?
It's dated.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It was
came
hot.
and went.
Yeah. Right. And so I really think that there are disciplines that don't change. The laws of physics don't change. You know, you want to be you go to university to be an engineer. Yeah, okay, you got to learn how to be an engineer, and you need to make sure that people that are building bridges know what the hell they're doing. Doctors, lawyers, these are professions that do require a lot of schooling, and learning. But I really feel like this day and age, if you're not going into one of these hardcore professions, what's the value?
And the thing is that the online education and learning for free on YouTube is bananas.
It's outstanding.
It's bananas. Like
it's
you
so
can
good.
Literally learn anything.
Yeah.
Like up to date live streams. Like you name it, there's hundreds of videos on it. Like,
and that's the beauty of that model, is that the person with the knowledge is incentivized to articulate that knowledge in a very digestible way so that anyone can learn. And if they do that successfully, they get remunerated by YouTube. They get paid to share their knowledge. And there are some YouTube channels out there that are making $500,000 a year just talking about what they're passionate about.
Yeah. The other learning hack outside of YouTube, obviously, which is our generation's freaking peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
Audiobooks.
Yes.
I wish that when I was going to school, all of our textbooks were in audio form. I would have crushed it.
Yeah.
Because I hate reading.
Right. I always feel like I'm doing homework.
Fall asleep. Like if I could have just put the lecture or the audiobook of the notes of what you're going and listen to it while I'm doing my other things. Because you absorb it and then you can absorb it again. But audiobooks are game changer.
Big time.
The amount of information you can learn in downtimes at the drop of a hat is insane.
Yeah.
You can't be driving in traffic reading a novel as you're going down the highway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love being stuck in traffic. Why? Because I'm learning awesome things. And it changed my game.
Yeah.
Instead of being pissed off because, an accident, I'm going to be 20 minutes late to get to wherever I'm going. Well, great. I get to learn more. I get to enjoy whatever it is. I can't remember the last time I just listened to music in my car. I'm always listening to something.
Actually, I have to set out time to like listen to albums and up-to-date music because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because most of the time I'm listening to stuff, it's educational or audiobook or some information.
Yeah.
It's because why not jam that dead time with just knowledge bombs?
Yes.
Yeah.
And absorbing having your environmental scan on and just absorbing different little bits and pieces of information, keeping tabs on a whole bunch. Listen, there's lots going on in the world right now, and it's, you got to be careful too, because I know people that are addicted to this, and it's completely fried their brain.
There's too much information.
We live in a world where there's too much information. You know, like.
And you wake up, you turn it on, you're nonstop getting bombarded by information. And then you
wonder why you're stressed out and anxious and the world's falling apart.
Yeah.
You know?
It's sad because I notice it when I go on vacation, or because usually when I go on vacation, I don't give a shit about my phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, I feel so different. Right? Just shows you that when you're in the week, like you're constantly connected to continuous information. Did you read this? Did you see this? Have you heard this news?
Yeah.
It's nonstop.
Yeah.
Alerts on the phone. Elon Musk is doing this. Have you seen the Kardashians? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. And that's the other downside to this new marketplace of ideas, is that it clickbaity things are now rewarded. So, you know, somebody can write something sensational. Oh my God, the headline, you have to click it. No way. Click.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so everything is sensationalized. Everything is over the top. And when the reality is, when you get to the crux of the story, you're like, okay, this happened and that happened. Not this dramatization of something basic that they have to blow up in order to get clicks. That's where it's a downfall. And if you're not aware that that's part of the business model, it's easy to fall for a lot of these clickbaity headlines.
Even we dramatize headlines, right, to get more
views.
Yeah, like all caps, like how not to get into night fight.
Never do this.
Yeah, never do this. But like, it's the game, right?
Yeah.
You got to catch that person in their feed. But too much information is not enough to help you reach your goals and help you to achieve things. Like, consuming the information is a part of learning, but actually going out and doing it and trying and failing is also a big part of learning.
Huge.
Too. And it's the hardest part, right? Because you have to put pen to paper, and like all of the things that you read and learned, like, do they actually work?
Yeah.
Like, which one of these things that I learned is actually going to do it? Like, we taught ourselves how to use these cameras and how to build these websites and how to market these things and use Klaviyo and that's all just trial and error. We didn't take a course. And yeah, the videos get you so far and the information gets you so far, but unless you just, like, we're so much better at taking pictures now than we were at the beginning.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's not because we went and read so much information about taking pictures.
To this day, I still don't know what aperture is.
I
don't know. What f-stop? I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Remember when that guy saw us dealing with our cameras and almost barfed? There's like so we were in Kentucky and there's like an actual photographer. Yeah. And he takes our expensive lens out and he's like so careful with it and like dusting it and making sure it goes into the thing. And like he's putting in our lens and I'm beside with our other camera and I'm just like, lick the thing, throw it on. Like,
and he's like, oh my God, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Is that a no-no?
Yeah. Like, wiping down the lens with my sleeve. Like, we don't care.
But what's interesting is that Budo Brothers was born out of wanting to learn something new. This whole journey started because you and I wanted to learn something new in how to start an e-commerce business. Okay, cool. I want to learn that. You want to learn that? Yeah, let's learn that. Okay. Where do we start? I don't know.
That's the hard part with it too. Like when you start something so brand new, you don't even know where to start.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. But that ignorance is sometimes a good thing.
Damn right, because if you are a seeker and you do want to learn something new, you will overturn those rocks, and those rocks might be heavy, but you will overturn them to see what's underneath them and learn whatever lesson is there.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people continually learn. Like, it's just a human trait. But sometimes people put it into the weirdest, well, not weirdest, the most unproductive places. Like if you're one of those people, I'm sorry, and you watch sports and you know every single detail about every single athlete, and that's, yes, if you love sports and that's your jam, that's cool. But there's some other productive places where you could put that energy to.
Sure.
That you're going to see a lot of growth in your life as well.
But that we got to be careful with that, because maybe it's that person's job. Maybe he gets paid and how to be and
that's for sure.
So like what is productive?
Right.
Learning the stats and watching the sports might be incredibly productive for a lot of people.
I just know too many people that will just lose themselves in these like sports or fantasy events, or learning about all the characters on a Netflix show and Star Wars people, right?
Sure.
They know all the details about it's like
it's entertainment.
It's entertainment, right? Yes. I think that's the thing, is like, you're focusing on entertaining like a event that somebody created, rather than learning these, I guess, skills and techniques of life
that you can then go apply.
Right? Because even if you are that person learning about sports only, you still are going to need to learn ways to bring that to the world, right? You're still going to need to learn how to make a business or do something with it, or
Yes.
There's a lot of elements to it. But you're right. Got to be careful, because what's valuable to me isn't necessarily
100%.
Yeah.
And what is productive, what we view as unproductive, could be incredible. It's all depending on
and it could be that person's escape from everything. Yeah.
Learning something new. What's the Budo Brothers challenge?
Budo Brothers challenge is because everybody's got that thing that they've wanted to try. Like right now, yours is Kydex. And just jump in and do it.
Do it.
Yeah. Start off with YouTube if you have no idea where to start. Like, jump in, learn something new, and stick with it for a while.
One of your interests.
Yes.
I've always been interested in swordsmithing. I've always been interested in cabinet making.
Yes.
I've always been interested, whatever you have said, I've always been interested in. Your challenge is to go learn something new in that interest and apply it.
Right.
Go create.
Love it.
That's it.
I think that's a great place to leave it.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for listening, and until next week.